Let's hope that this works now. I'm so sorry, guys. My software crashed on me, so I feel like I might have lost a few of you on my way. So I hope that, I don't know, people refresh and find me again. I'm so sorry. But okay, I think we're good now. So we are live and everything is in order. Thank you so much for being here, guys. Like I was saying before, I don't even know if any of it's saved, but a few of you seem to not necessarily be in Victoria studying VCE. So thanks so much for being here. If that is the case, that's really exciting. Hey, Angela. Hey, Matt.jpg. Hey, Nano. So I, as usual, sent through an email to all of the people on my Lisa Study Guides mailing list, and if you are not on this mailing list, of course, as usual, the link is in the description box below if you wanted to sign up. So basically, when it comes to signing up, it means that I send out an email every single Monday just to keep you updated on what's going on with Lisa Study Guides, any new resources going on, and I also answer a few questions there as well as part of my monthly Q&A. So last week I sent out an email saying, hey, I'm doing a live stream. Which one of you have questions? If you ask me now, then I will answer those questions as soon as the live stream starts, so you can get priority in the line, essentially, of questions that come up. So, of course, if you're here during the live stream, feel free to ask questions and I'll pick up the ones as I go and try to answer as many as I can. And yeah, this is our last live stream ever, especially if you are in year 12. So let's just kick this ball rolling and get this ball rolling. I don't know. I feel like when I'm live, sometimes I say things and I'm like, what, Lisa? You wouldn't say that normally in real life. So, yeah. Hey, Julia. Hi, Steph. Hi, Ahmad. Hey, Una. Hi, Mia. Hi, Mesh. Thanks so much. Okay, so just to get started, I had a couple of students writing in saying thank you to me and just thank you to the team at LSG. So I just wanted to read these out just to let you know that I have read this and I really appreciate your kind words. Sharon says, just wanted to say a big thank you for all your resources and helpful videos this year. Your videos brighten up my day, and Year 12 English was definitely much more bearable with your advice. English has never been my strong point, but I've learnt so much this year and love the dedication you have towards this subject. Thank you so much, and I'm so glad that English was more bearable for you, and I hope that through what I do, you have gained confidence in English and feel like you've got the support that you need. And Zainab says, hey Lisa, your videos have been very helpful for this year. Thank you. So that one's a lot more short and concise. And thank you so much. So Natasha asks how to avoid retelling the story. So I just wanted to start off with this one because this one is just going to be a quick answer. Check out the link below. I've done a video on this before about how to not retell the story. So because I don't want to repeat anything on this channel and I want to be able to offer new advice each time, I would just want to direct you towards that. So I've got a few different links down the bottom as well that I thought might be helpful for you guys. Recently I released videos on how I wrote 1,000 words in an hour, how to write 3 essays in 3 hours. The last live stream, that was based on exam prep, so there's a few questions there that I think were really great questions on how to study for the exam and how to actually do the exam, so you definitely want to check that out. So, cool. I'm going to start off now with, I keep saying start off, I've covered 3 different emails that have been sent through already. So the 4th email that was sent through was from Zara. She asked, any tips on what to do if you can't think of anything to say for the essay topic in the exam? So hopefully this kind of situation doesn't come up for you. I think that one, obviously make sure you know the text. Yeah, it is just, I think it sounds really straightforward and kind of like a stupid tip perhaps, but I really feel like if you know your text inside out, you shouldn't really be coming across this problem. So work really hard at acknowledging where your weaknesses are inside the text. So I've previously talked about doing mind maps as a way to gauge where your weaknesses are, and then make sure you work on those and solidify your knowledge in those areas so that by the time you get to the exam, there's nothing that can throw you off. Because essentially this question is about what happens when I just have no idea, right? And that's when you're thrown off. So in the worst case scenario where you do get an essay topic and you do know your text, but it's just one that's really confronting because you've never seen anything like it before, what I would recommend is for you to fall back on what you do know. So a really good place to start is to look at the themes. If you look at the VCA criteria, in the first row, it's about ideas and themes. That's what they're assessing you on. So all essay topics revolve around certain themes in a book. So if there's a question there that you feel has completely thrown you off, go back to the basics. What themes do you know? And make the connection. How could this theme potentially relate to this essay topic? Does it? If it does, cool. I think that will lead to a string of thoughts that will enable you to better understand the prompt. And yeah, oh man, I had two different pathways of thinking, and then I was thinking which one should I talk about next, and I've completely forgotten about both now. What was I gonna say? Okay, if it doesn't help you, I kind of feel like it should, especially if you know your text, you know your themes, right? Fall back on your characters. What do the characters do that could potentially relate to this essay topic? So that's the main tip. Fall back on what you know and see how you can work it with this particular essay topic. I think sometimes at first you probably just don't know what to, you probably think you don't have anything to say because you don't fully understand the essay topic yet. But as you look at it for a longer period, as you start to tease out the ideas, I think they will come to you naturally. I hope that helps, Sarah. Whew. Okay. So, there's so many of you. Hi, Mesh. Hey, Steph. She says, my tutor from Lisa Study Guides is really helpful. That's amazing. I'm so glad to hear it. Fantastic. Okay, so moving on to the next question. Anara says, with the English exam next week, I was just after some last-minute pointers for language analysis, argument and comparative essays. Okay, so she just wants last-minute pointers. And so these would be my kind of main tips just to have at the forefront when you're writing essays. For language analysis, or APA as some people call it, or analyzing argument as some people call it, one tip is to try to find techniques that will help you stand out. So, for example, if you see that there is an appeal to fear, our sense of fear, or that the author is trying to make us fearful of a certain thing, and then the next sentence there's a rhetorical question, perhaps the option you might try to use or select is the technique that revolves more around fear, because that's not quite as obvious as a rhetorical question, for example. So this is all about strategy. It's all about which techniques am I going to talk about, basically what ideas even, which arguments am I going to talk about, and am I going to select for my essay that's going to help me make a difference compared to the 50,000 other Victorian students out there. And yeah. Second one is make connections where possible. So within an article itself, sometimes the start will connect to the end, or sometimes the middle will connect to the end, or there might be one comment here in the second paragraph that links really well to a comment that's made in the fourth paragraph. If you see those connections, I think it's a brilliant idea to form a connection and discuss it, because I think that way you're kind of showing the examiner that you're not just looking at this article chronologically, and that you can kind of see how it all comes together. And that's really important when it comes to analyzing the argument itself, because it's not just one sentence that shapes an argument, it's the collective piece. The third thing is to be very clear with your contention. So I think that a lot of students out there kind of just grasp at the first thing that they see when it comes to the contention, but contentions are usually quite nuanced than that. So I use this example all the time, but there's this article out there called Chickens Range Free, and the most obvious argument or contention there is that we need to treat chickens with more humanity. So basically, chickens don't deserve to be treated like crap and be shoved into cages. We need to take care of them as we would humans, right? So that's the most obvious contention. But there is something a bit more subtle in the background, and it's that the whole article is actually based on an event that happened. And in that event, essentially, activists released all these chickens from the cage. So a more complete contention would be a more complete contention would be the author endorses the activist's action of releasing the chickens because we need to treat them with more respect and care. Okay? So I know that's like a bit of a random example, but I still hope it helps. Cool. Then she asked about comparative. So I've only got one big tip for comparative, and I think that's make connections, again, with nuances that stand out. So for me, the easiest way to do this is to highlight differences within a similarity. So similarity means that something is similar, not the same, right? So even if they're similar, there must be some differences. And I think it's that there must be some differences that a lot of students don't talk about. They're just kind of like, they're similar in this way, blah, 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 and that's it. But I don't think that is a very realistic approach to the discussion because, again, it's not exactly the same. So you need to point out the differences. For example, in Ransom and Invictus, the people in both texts are resistant to change. And they're similar in that they're resistant to change because of their past history. Cool? So you could just finish it there. But you could also add in your paragraph that a slight difference is that in Ransom, the past is actually more to do with tradition and how things should be, and that as a king, Priam should follow the normal ways of what a traditional king should do. In Invictus, the past that affects the present is due to the history, due to the context, the apartheid and the racism that exist. So I think if you can point that out, same thing with I Malala and Madim Dagenham. Both women are determined in their cause, but you point out how within a paragraph, let's say, if they're both determined with their cause, you can still point out some differences. So you could say, I Malala is in first person narration. So we see her thoughts, her feelings, her doubts, her concerns. With Rita, we're not privy to this as much. We see her thoughts through conversations and through some shots, it's more us watching her, but we're not gained access, that same access into the inside of her head as we do with Malala. Okay, I hope that helps. All right, I'm going to go to a few questions in the live stream. Hi. Ooh, I don't know. QUWTK 2016. I didn't go to Loretto. Sorry about that. So I'm not sure who those teachers are, unfortunately. Elise says, hey Lisa, any suggestions for familiarizing yourself with a text without rereading it? I guess reading study guides, reading articles about it. I think it's really just a matter of wide reading. Yeah, so I'm sorry, like it's a bit ironic and it's probably not what you're after because you might not necessarily want to reread the text itself, but it means that you read other stuff about the text to help you. So quite a few of you are asking, Fluffy asks this and Abhilash asks this. How do you study from now until next Wednesday? So time is of the essence, right? So at this point, I think it's just kind of knowing what is it that you still haven't quite knuckled out. One, is it the timing of your essay? So do you need to work on that still and make sure that you are able to write it within 60 minutes? Is it the fact that you're still not really nailing answering the topic, and that means that you need to go out there, explore more prompts, do more plans? Is it that you really struggle coming up with a third body paragraph? We'll focus on that and again, explore more prompts, do plans, try to write out that third body paragraph to test yourself. I think this stage is a very personal stage. You've done and gone through the machinery of a typical study path, and that's reading the text, doing notes, writing essays, right? So at this stage, what is going to work for you? I think that's really the question that I'm going to pose back to you for you to think about. And only you are really going to know the answer to that. I hope that helped. Okay. No problems, guys. I'm very happy to answer your questions. Have you read The Namesake on White Tiger? Yes, I have. It is actually my mission to read all of the texts by the time summer is over. And when I say all the texts, I mean all the texts for 2019. Because next year, and I know a few of you won't be here next year. Crying face. There's actually quite a few new texts on the syllabus, and I want to make sure that Lisa Study Guides is able to produce content for those new books on our YouTube channel and on our website. So that's just as a heads up for any of you who are sticking around. If you aren't sticking around, I just want to do a little quick plug and say, you know, it's been amazing being able to support you throughout this year. If you are somebody who I've been able to help, I would absolutely love you to come back and let me know how you go in your exam, how you go with your ATAR. It means a lot to me to have people like you let me know that, you know, the work that's been put out there has been helping you, because I know it must be really obvious, and you know, you guys probably think, oh, you know how much you help us, but honestly, it's not always the case unless someone actually specifically tells you. So, you know, if there's been anywhere that I have helped, then please let me know. Like, it'd mean a lot. And don't be afraid to sign up and subscribe to my personal channel, and I can see you there. And that's more, you know, just not necessarily, that's not year 12 stuff, essentially. Okay, yay, you guys are so cute. You're all like, I will be. I sure will. Okay, so let's see what other questions we've got here. Fluffy asks, do you think it's better to write full essays or plans? Again, it's a matter of your time and what's going to work best for you. If you feel like you still haven't nailed the full essays, you haven't nailed the timing, you feel like there's just something off there, do that. But if you feel like you've kind of got that under control, do the plans, because that's a much more productive way to spend your time. Valentina asks, how do you memorize quotes? I've done this video before, so just search it in my channel. RWD27 asks, what are your tips for images that have nothing to show? I think if there is nothing to show, you might be missing the point. Try to always connect it back to the article. So what's the article talking about, and which parts of the article could it be enhancing? So sometimes there are images that just don't really give you much, there's not that much to talk about. But I think at the very least, if you can make a connection and say something about how the fact that this statement is echoed in the image, and the image is a visual representation that's like right in front of the reader's face, that's a different way for them to absorb the information and be further persuaded by the author. It's a very general way of going about it, but at least you could say something. Tay Cookies Butterflies asks, do you recommend studying before the exam, as in the morning of, or is it better to relax? I tend to freak myself out. So I would recommend that the day before you stop studying. So on the Tuesday, I believe the exam's on the Wednesday, just take a break. Look over anything last minute if you feel that you need to. But otherwise, it's English isn't a subject that you really cram. So it's kind of in my opinion anyway, I just think if you don't know your stuff by then, well then one day isn't really going to make a big difference for you. So I also think that if you are a diligent student and you've worked really hard up until this point, give yourself a break so that your brain can consolidate your knowledge and get into your exam fresh and prepped. It's also your first exam, so I know that you'll probably be more jittery than usual. So do the things that make you happy and relaxed. So Sarah has a very similar question, and she says do you just flip through quote banks the night before? Yeah, you can do that. If it's something that you feel like you haven't quite gripped, then sure, go for it. I think it's also if it makes you relax by studying and knowing that you're still working and that's going to get you to a better place at the end of the day, even if it is the day before, then do that. You don't need to listen to my advice. You know what I'm saying? A lot of my advice is just advice. It's just stuff that I know has worked for me and for a lot of students. But if you're different and, you do things differently, then go for it. There's no problem with that. Talk so much that I make myself cough. Oh. People are asking me, do you listen to K-pop? Just as a random side note. I used to, yeah, but not so much anymore. Though, coincidentally, last night I was listening to that song that goes, it's by Wonder Girls, tell me, tell me, tell me. So yeah, I guess occasionally. Dora says, hi Lisa, love your videos, they've helped me so much. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm going to go back to our mailing list questions that were sent through already. So Kaylee asks, I've got questions about language analysis essays or AAPAs. How do you clearly identify topic sentences? Focus your topic sentences on ideas. I think that's what your question is asking. She also asks, how many meta-language techniques should we identify per paragraph? It depends. This is up to you. I've talked about this before about quantity. Like, quality is more important than quantity. So it's more about what you're saying about how the author is persuading than it is how many techniques you're writing down. So if it was just a matter of how many, then examiners would have nothing to compare you guys against, because everyone would be doing like 5 techniques per body paragraph, because that's the recommendation, you know? So yeah. Do you devote one whole paragraph to analyzing an image? No, I would recommend that you incorporate the image discussion with an idea. So integrate it into another paragraph, and this might be a new thought for you guys, but you don't have to talk about the image all at one go. You could even split that up. If there are different ideas in the image that are being presented, then there's no harm in you talking about them in different paragraphs in your essay. As long as everything flows together, then it's all good. Brandon says, what would you do during the exam where you run out of time, unable to finish an essay? Would you leave it or try to finish it off somehow? Brandon, I think you should watch my video. I think it's the 3 essays in 3 hours. I talk about this, about running out of time, but as a quick summary, I would finish my 3rd body paragraph rather than jumping to my conclusion. And yes, I would drop things and move on to the next one. I think you should watch the video though, because I go into this explanation in more detail, and I also go through how you can ensure that you really stick to the time limit so that this doesn't become a problem for you. Aisha says, and this is a question. I was wondering if you have any predicted prompts that VCA might ask in the English exam. Girl, no, I do not. I am not a fortune teller, and I'm not a psychic, unfortunately. So, I would say to you though, do not try to predict what is in your exam, because I tried doing that, and I've talked about this on my channel before, and it backfired. And you lure yourself into this false sense of security that you have an idea of what is going to be presented, and I think that's actually going to throw you off more than anything else when you don't get a prompt that is as you thought it would be. So just go in there focusing on your knowledge, on how you're going to answer the prompt, how you're going to deliver in those 3 hours, and I think that's a better mindset to go into things with. Jazzy now says, I'm not sure how to balance using good vocabulary without seeming excessive. Is there a way to check if my sentences are convoluted? Honestly, girl, like, it's all about using the right word. And again, sorry guys if you guys have watched my videos, link in the description below. Why my vocab sucks explained is the video you need to be watching. So I think if you are trying to make your essay sound really good at the expense of your ideas not being clear, not coming across in an articulate way to the examiner, then you're really putting yourself in a detrimental position. And so I think at this stage, don't stress about your vocabulary. You're only a week out. I don't think it could like dramatically improve it, but what you can focus on is your ideas, how you explore them, how you develop them, and what interesting thoughts you have in here. So What examiners are interested is what's going on inside this head, you know? What are you thinking? How are you interpreting this quote? Why are you different to everybody else? Your vocab's not going to make you different from everybody else, I can tell you that much. So, yes. Okay, back to questions from you guys. As you can see, it is getting darker and darker out there. So, yeah, I'm sorry if like this, the lighting gets really, really weird. Okay. Where are we up to here? This is an interesting question that no one's ever really asked before. Why is English scaled down so harshly if it's an important subject and compulsory? That's really, really, really a great question because people haven't asked me that before. And I'd say that the reason for it is because, whoa, it got really yellow, huh? I'm sorry, guys. I haven't actually set up my usual lighting, so yeah, that's why. And I'll do this so that you don't see the glare. So it all has to do with like this mathematical, statistical thing, and I'm not the best at explaining it, so please don't like kill me for saying it's not the wrong thing because I know what I'm talking about, but I don't know how to clearly express it because I don't do maths, you know, like I understand it, but I'm not able to articulate it very clearly in a simple way. But essentially, my understanding is that subjects are ranked and you get a study score within a certain subject, right? And then those subjects are compared against each other. So math, science, English, religion, geography, all of that. And they need to figure out a way to ensure that if you do geography and if you do English, that they're both compared on the same level, you know? Because let me use specialist maths in English because specialist maths, it's going to be super hard, right? And English is, I feel like I'm digging myself into a hole. Specialist maths is, everybody knows, very hard. So if you get a 30 in specialist maths, it's not going to be the same as if you get a 30 in English, just because they've got different questions and stuff like that. So you essentially get pulled down in English because most of the people studying English, when you look at their other subjects, tend to do lower. You know what? I'm sorry. I'm going to stop. I just don't think that I'm the best at explaining it. And I'm just going to waste your time. So the point is, it has nothing to do with the fact that it's compulsory. Okay? I mean, some people are going to argue that it does because it affects like who takes it and stuff. But yeah, I'm just going to leave it there. I hope that's okay. I did do a video called Everything You Need to Know About VCE and also another one about scaling. So if you wanted to go check that out, I'm a lot more specific in that because I actually like researched it and looked it up. Okay, I'm going to answer a couple more questions and then we'll call it a night and let you guys get on with your studying. UX got, I don't know, text rolled. Can you still do well with simple vocab? Absolutely. I've seen amazing students who've gotten 40 and above, specifically at the 50 mark as well, who have just written in the most plain way using words that anyone would know. And it's more about, wow, like they've written this and they've discussed this idea on a level that's just different to everyone else. So it's about the ideas. Cool. Okay. I know a lot of you are asking questions, but the chat's going, yeah, I'm just like picking out the ones that I think are going to be most relevant for everybody so everyone is able to benefit. Just looking through. There's a really interesting one about like what type of pen I used in my exam. I think I used a I've got it. This is when I was in school. I used this to write my essay, and I used this to write my plan because I had different colors. And if you've watched my how to do plans video, you'll know why I needed different colors. But when I was in uni, I discovered Muji, and Muji was amazing for me. And so during my exams then I used this pen. It's a 0.5 gel-based pen, and I just think it works so well. It has a grip that's easy for you to hold on to. It glides nicely so you're able to write quickly, and it also doesn't, like, it sinks into the paper really quickly so that you don't like smudge anything. That's it. I think they're like $2 from Muji, like really, really not much at all. Okay. How to use your reading time. Pretty sure I did a video on this. Okay. I think I'm going to answer one more question, guys, before we head off. And let's just finish with this one because I know that a lot of people were writing comments on my channel about this. Which section do I do on my exam first? I would recommend doing section C, which is your language analysis or your analyzing argument. The reason for that is, I believe I've talked about this before, is the fact that it's the first time you're seeing this article. So because you'll be spending a lot of your your reading time going over the article, you might as well just leap into it straight away, as opposed to waiting till later, coming back and then by that stage you'll probably actually forget what the article's about, so you'll need to read it another time, and that might be a bit of waste of time as opposed to you just jumping into it straight away. Okay? Cool, guys. So unfortunately, that's it. I have to go because, whoa, look at that. It's like oh, that's better. I actually have a student coming very shortly, so that's why I'll need to bail. But I wanted to say thank you so much again for all of you being here. I have had an amazing time with you this year. And again, please reach out to me about how you go. I'd love to hear it. If you have found Lisa's Study Guides helpful, and a review on Facebook or Lisa's Study Guides on Google would actually mean the world to me, because that would show your support. So yeah, I'll make a link in a comment below because I haven't done that yet. But again, it has been the best. I am so excited for what's in store in 2019 for us, and we're looking forward to doing bigger things, especially with my startup Evie. So, thank you so much, guys, for being here. And yeah, again, I know I've said it a few times. Contact me. Let me know. Comment. Write a review. Subscribe to Lisa Tran's channel if you're interested. But find a way to connect so that we can form a tangible connection in some way that won't just be transient as VCE is. All the best, guys. Good luck. I will catch you guys soon. Bye.